Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 75th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by Disney's number one hater, Jaden.
G'day.
Hi. Wow. Good nice
Sorry,
one.
I was reading something and I was...
That's okay. And our resident Irish citizen, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hey, do I sound amazing?
You do sound amazing. You do. I don't want to
Nice.
hear any more complaints from anyone ever again now, you know?
They'll be there,
Maybe
don't
we'll-
worry. Don't worry.
Yeah. It'll never not bother me. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Slumdog Millionaire, which opened in the US on the 25th of December, Christmas Day 2008. 2008. It was
Wow,
directed
that's
by...
a Christmas movie?
Yeah, man. Yo, this changes the definition of Christmas movie. Oh my God. It was directed by Danny Boyle. It's a drama. And the synopsis reads, a Mumbai teenager reflects on his life after being accused of cheating on the Indian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's an interesting premise, I think. Yeah, I like that synopsis. Fitzy, what did you think of Slumdog Millionaire? I believe this was all our first time watching the film.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I think it's like kind of an inherent, I don't know, silliness to the concept of it, or like a crowd pleasing element, which is kind of like you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. And the story is a bit, I don't know, over like melodramatic in itself, but like it does work for what it does, but you have to like, acknowledge first that it is a bit of a, maybe not silly, but I don't know, very like Hollywood kind of film, I guess. I got those kind of vibes, yeah.
I get that. And that's especially interesting considering this film is like not a Hollywood film. It's like I think it's sort of like a workaround international foreign film, I believe. I believe it's sort of British studios, Danny Boyle, but obviously sort of an entire Indian cast. Hollywood wasn't involved, but you're right. It sort of has that element to it nonetheless. Jaden, what about you?
Yeah, I did quite enjoy it. I think it is an interesting, what you already said about like, it is a interesting mix of Western and Bollywood, and it doesn't always work, but I think when they get it right, it's quite effective. I think it is rather gripping at parts, especially like, I think Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, like those parts are actually they're rather intense, probably more intense than all the gangster shit.
Yeah, for sure. I like the movie. I think it's good. I do like the fact that it is really just, at the end of the day, a simple love story, surrounded by an interesting structure and a look and an underappreciated, or at least a culture in Hollywood, or at least a culture I don't see a lot, you know what I mean, on the screen. So that's neat. I don't know anything about Bollywood at all. Like, I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. But my miserable ass even sort of liked the music video at the end, you know what I mean? So
Dude,
like,
I had no idea
Man.
that song came from this movie. I remember
Totally.
fucking listening
Yeah.
to that song on like my sister's iPod Touch so fucking much, and I had
Did
no
it?
idea it came from this movie.
Oh, I don't know if it did.
Yeah.
It did.
But,
Yeah. I was surprised.
Bro,
by
that was the best part of the film.
Yeah, same. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
that's good.
it honestly is like one of the best parts of the film.
That song's been stuck in my head like 3 days, man. Yeah.
I know. So yeah, I know the like the English version, which is, but the
Oh,
lyrics in that, now that I think about it, because I didn't know anything about this movie. Now I think about it, the English lyrics like are the plot of this movie, So I was like, it all
okay.
makes sense now, But it's a good. No, I totally agree. It's a good ass song. I agree with you guys totally. So Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Right? Are we all in agreement that's like the best stuff in the movie? That's where I'm at with it, because I think I totally agree. There's some good tension.
What do you mean? What do you mean by best stuff? I don't know.
The best scenes in the movie, the most compelling sequences.
I don't think there was much there really. They were just like a framing device for the
That's true.
to actually show his life and stuff. Because I mean, like at the end, you got like millionaire scenes are like full-fledged, tense scenes that work on their own. But like other than that, they're just like little snippets of context that, I don't know, introduce you to these different events in his life, I guess.
That's true. That's true. But I was enjoying them the whole way though, and I don't know. Like I think the flashbacks, which is they're flashbacks, but they're really just the movie, aren't they? Like they are the majority of the movie, really.
Hmm.
They're probably like they don't always work for me that well, you know. Like they're sort of straightforward, and I don't know. Like I get it, you know. I like the idea that it's framed in the way of every single question we sort of learn how he knows the answer. Like I think that's cool. But in terms of the content and the drama in those scenes, it's sort of whatever. Like the brother, I like the ending of the movie a lot. We'll get to it, but the brother came around like that worked for me in the end. But like the whole time, like the brother was just sort of a dick, but like there was no interest from me personally. I was just like this guy's just I don't give a shit. And referencing the gangster shit earlier, like I really none of that vibed with me at all. It was just sort of weird, you know. And when they were were they like guerrilla fighters, like the dudes that were getting them to beg, you know?
No, they were just other gangsters who like use the kids to get money.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, because then because then that other big time gangster like killed that other gangster. Oh no, well no, the brother killed the other gangster, but they were all related. Yeah. And then that's how he got in with the other gangster, the other dude. All that stuff was like falling flat for me. I thought some of the younger the brother's younger acting was sort of mediocre, you know. But the main thing I guess I did enjoy coming back to this and the millionaire sequence, I like Dev Patel in the movie a lot. I feel like Dev Patel comes up on the show like probably from the last Airbender, to be honest. I feel like I've said him a few times in recent weeks, but I like him a lot in the movie, and the main thing I like about it is that in these little snippets of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I like seeing his performance evolve. Sort of as we come back and forth, learn more about him. I feel like I watch it, which I guess if you just like take the scenes together, it doesn't really actually make a lot of sense, I guess. But in terms of the audience experience, I enjoy seeing him sort of gain confidence on the show. You know, at the start, he's sort of like really awkward. He can't banter with the host at all. And I think Dev sells that really well. And then by the end, though, it's like everyone's in on him. He's embracing it, you know. And I thought I was invested in that. I thought that was cool.
Well, I was just looking now. I think this is the first thing I've actually seen him in, movie wise. So,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he was pretty great. Yeah, I think you're right with the gaining confidence thing. I think that is something to latch onto, but also the interrogation stuff is good with him because part of his whole life is that he's he doesn't trust authority and stuff like that, and I felt that was very like convincing when he was just like trying to get them to believe him and telling them to fuck off, and that was all good.
Totally. Yeah, I like that. I think those scenes are especially good because of the cop dude, whatever he's that guy who I've seen around all the time.
He's so great.
I believe he passed recently, which sucks, but he's great. You know, I think he stands out to me. He's that dude in Life of Pi, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got great. No, I like him a lot. He really holds my attention on screen. So then his back and forth with Dev is really good. So yeah, no, I agree with that. That stuff's really good. There was that moment when, like, the cop said, really good exchange. Didn't the cop said, like, how do you not know the answer to this question? Wasn't it like, what's the motto of I don't know, like the Lion of India or some shit? I don't know. Like, what's the motto of something to do with the country? How do you not know the answer to that question? And Dev counters were like, how do you not know the answer? Like, the answer to this question I know or whatever, because I live in the slums, you know. We have different lives. We come from different backgrounds, you know. Don't tell me that I should know an answer to some some fancy ass. You probably went to some private school, you know, some private ass school question, you know. I thought it was a good exchange. That sort of encapsulated all of that. But you say that, you know, the concept sort of you suspend your disbelief. It sort of feels a bit Hollywood like. Is that just in the sense of? Are you talking about him being able to answer all these questions and win the show, or just the idea of it's like, oh, he gets the girl and wins the money in the end? Is it sort of those things you're talking about?
Yeah, just those things combined as well, I guess.
Sure.
I mean, you don't have to think about the maths or whatever, but he's getting like 20 questions correct and this remembering all these crazy things in his life is like, it's a bit, I don't know, over the top in its believability, but
Sure.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much. I mean, once you just suspend your disbelief, it's effective in the movie is effective, I guess. And I don't know, the romance was not not barely acted as well at the end, like when they were adults as well. So I thought that like there's an element of believability to it as well, even though it's like he's chasing her his whole life. That's kind of
Sure.
very Hollywoodish, but yeah.
No, I get that. That's sort of just ingrained in what the movie is. I understand that. That's a good point, though. I think the two actors, Devon, whoever the other chick is.
She's from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, so she's a friend of the show now. Frida Pinto.
Oh, she was too. Yeah. That's a great point about them, though, because like when it became clear to me, it only became clear to me about halfway through the movie that, oh, okay, I get what this movie is now. Like this movie is a love story. This movie's finding the girl movie. Like it wasn't sort of 100% clear to me up until that point that this is where we were going with it. And then when we figured that out, I'm like, oh, okay. Like I wasn't bummed or anything, but I was like, okay, well, all right, I see what you're doing here. But I totally agree. When the adult actors are performing, I'm like, okay, like they're helping me buy into this. They're selling this well. Because I feel like if there wasn't a lot of chemistry there, it's sort of awkward. If it was awkward, then it would sort of come across more cheesy and lean into that tropey stuff I wouldn't like. But I think they do a decent enough job to where it was good stuff in my opinion.
Yeah, and like the actual problem is interesting as well. Like it's not that she doesn't love him or anything, or she doesn't want to be with him. It's just that she can't, or she like because financially or whatever, because they don't have that privilege, I guess. So
because she's with that guy that's like, make me a sandwich in the kitchen, like the most like
tropey
thing ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about this, Jaden. I understand the argument or the issue that it's like, oh, how does he get all these questions right? Like, it's sort of dumb. Like, how does he remember that one time his brother yelled like the name of the revolver? You know what I mean? But for me, I don't mind that as much personally. Like, it doesn't bother me. I sort of buy into. Andy wrote in a review that we'll get to later that sort of tackles this, but for me, I sort of just buy into the whole destiny aspect of the movie, and that does link back to what Fitzy was saying. Like the whole thing is just destiny; they were meant to be together. He was meant to win the show,
It is
right?
written.
So is that what they say in the movie?
Yeah.
Cool.
They say like at the start when the multiple choice comes up is like, did he cheat? Did you do what? And like D is like,
oh,
it is
that was
written.
D.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
And then the host later on is talking about like maybe it's written or whatever, and like Des like maybe it is or whatever,
Okay, I missed that specific line. That's cool. I did because they talk about it a lot, right? Dev mentions it multiple times, but you're totally right. Yeah. I don't know. Do you is that fine with you? How do you feel about that aspect?
It's completely fine with me. Yeah. It's interesting that you guys say it's more Hollywood, but I just see that as the Bollywood aspect of it and kind of where you need to suspend it more. I don't think this is. I see what you mean when you say it's Hollywood, but I do think it's. I do think that moment, and I think the moments that you're talking about, for me personally, I see them as more kind of just the Indian style of filmmaking.
Okay. To be clear, I haven't seen a Bollywood film in my life, so.
I think I've seen like 2. So like, I mean, like, I'm not expecting this, but like
100 times more than us.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what they were. They're just like on like when my mum was watching it. But like, yeah, I don't know. To me, like those elements are just,
So is it like a common thing in Bollywood, or like when you're in that world of filmmaking, like these sort of concepts of like, I don't know, not destiny,
like kind of like fate type thing. I'd imagine to be, and like kind of, all you have to do is watch a few clips on the internet, and you'll see like how tropey and like their films are. So a lot of these things about like chasing the girl, destiny, rising up above everything else, like they are very Bollywood. They're not distinctly Bollywood because obviously we see them in all kinds of media, but they are definitely they are a major factor there.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense.
I definitely might explain it, but I don't think that would make it better for me. But that's
no, for sure. Yeah. I get that. I do really like, and in terms of rising above, like, he's a slumdog, right? Like he's just some kid from the slums. He doesn't have any parents as far as we're aware or anything. Oh no, his mum
We
can't
see,
do. That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So I mean, that sucks for him. But I think the film does a good job of. It does suck for him. Does a good job of, for me anyway, of like exposing why I would never want to go to India, and all jokes aside, exposing like the hardship of living in that class system in India and being, a slumdog, right? Like visually, story wise, like there's a lot there to where the film is able to maintain its sort of fun sense of adventure. Like, oh, this is a fun movie, this is an enjoyable movie, while still also like not necessarily shying away from it. Not that it's like the most like, not that it's like a hunger shit, you know what I mean? Not that it's like exposing the depths of hell that is the slums of India, but I think it does showcase the suburban areas well and how these people live and how they have to beg for money, and sort of sells the aspect, what's his face? Jamal ends up getting a job, and that's a big deal for him. Like, I think it doesn't take for granted the situation the characters are in. I think that's something that the movie does well, and you don't want to sort of brush over, especially when this is a predominantly, I assume, Western targeted movie. Everyone speaks English for the most part, so.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of where, like, I think it does kind of dip its hand too much into poverty porn at parts, where like he kind of like they want to revel in it a bit more of like, he's so poor and he's so, tragic, his upbringing or whatever. And like because of that, like people talk about like the Anglo lens of the film and like its racist reinforcement of the thing, But like, I'm not going to deny there's stereotypes and generalizations and shit, but they're intentional. Like, look, the source material is by an Indian writer, and the co-director is an Indian, so like they are aware, they would have handled this carefully. So like stereotypes and generalizations as the ones like we see, they're there so the audience can easily identify and connect and understand what the film is trying to say. So they're not always bad things, but they are a tiny bit heavy-handed with it, I think. Yeah, I don't know. That's just what I want to say. Like in regards, like people like, oh, it's such a fucking, English perspective of it. And, like, they're aware of the source material. Had an Indian co-director to make sure of this. I'm sure the cast and the crew would have influenced how they portray this country. And these kind of depictions are, because stereotypes arise for a reason. Like obviously sometimes they're harmful, but they do arise for a reason. So like, that's just kind of what I want to say about that.
I think that's very well said. In terms of them, like the poverty porn aspect, which is a phrase I've never heard, but I love.
Oh, really?
No. Is like an example of that? Would that be like, I don't know, when the kids are like drugged and that sort of thing? Is there?
Well, I think
the movie,
like like him, like the fact like Samil and fucking Jamal like work at like an outhouse where they like a drop toilet thing, and like they just sit over a shit river, and like that's where they poo and shit, like like it's just like, and then like you have to jump into the shit, like that's like,
which is sort of a comedic thing.
Yeah, but like
sort of, yeah.
Yeah, I know that, and like we're given so many shots of like like I don't know what they call them there, but like we should call them shanty towns. If you're living in 1930s America, of like these kind of just like poorly crafted, like sheet metal little huts, and just like stacked on top of each other, and like rivers just full of polluted shit, and like that. So I mean, like, yeah, they're there for a reason because that's what is there. But like, I just feel like it is a bit heavy-handed at times.
Sure. I liked those aspects. I think visually, like, I know the exact shots you're talking about. Like, there's a fair few aerial shots where we get a good look at the suburban areas and the waste and the rubbish extensively. And I dug that about the movie personally. I think it's a well-directed movie. I think it's a well-shot movie. I think I really like the choices, and it's a really specific choice. I don't know if we've even like reviewed a movie like it before, but just the constant use of like tilted angles all the time, I quite liked. Like, it sort of felt like, and they're always used like from a higher perspective than the characters. Like we're never getting tilted, like, you know what I mean, like ground level shots. It sort of adds this verticality to the film, and by extension scale to the film, at least for me. Where there's a few shots where there's this one shot where what's his face, Salim, is like approaching the other gangsters, and it's like higher up, and we see like the streets in the background, how busy they are. And that sort of that all really worked for me, like visually. You know what I mean? It's a simple shot. The dude's just walking up to the group of people, and that's all it's meant to be. But in that, where, you know, receiving information about just the density of that area and the situation, and getting an understanding of the geography where how people live. So I really enjoyed those aspects of the movie personally. But we brought up the pile of shit. This is the pile of shit that the young Jamal jumps into was made from a combination of peanut butter and chocolate.
I think of like all the torture, beatings, violence in the film, like that's where I winced the most, when he jumped in the shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was yeah, that was something. Well, I'm glad that he didn't have to go method on that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's laws about plunging kids into shit piles.
Probably. Would Christian Bale be like, nah, dude, fucking, I want every cast and crew member here to shit in this pile, and I'm going to jump. It's disgusting.
If there's one actor in Hollywood who would be the one to do it, Christian Bale, you reckon?
What a question. Or would it be like, I don't know, who else would do it? Would Joaquin Phoenix do it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I could see Joaquin doing it. I think Daniel Day-Lewis might draw a line there.
Probably. I don't think he'd do it either.
I could see Jared Leto maybe doing it.
Jared Leto would do it for sure. For sure. Hey, dude, Jared Leto would do it, and he'd think that's like top shit. He'd think he deserves an Oscar for that. No pun intended, by the way.
Method acting. Yeah.
He would love that. Yeah, man. I'll use this as a segue. Director Danny Boyle placed the money to be paid to the 3 lead child actors in a trust that is to be released to them upon their completion of grade school at 16 years of age, which I assume has happened already. This movie was made in 2008. The production company is set up for an auto rickshaw, I don't know what that means, a driver to take the kids to school every day until they're 16 years old. That's nice. Good for them. I don't know. I was like to think about this. Is that like? I assume there's more to it. Obviously, is that legal? Like you decide where their money goes. You put their money in a trust. You know what I mean?
I think it is.
I mean, he did it, so I guess it is. But also,
I mean, yeah, but like, I think it has happened before in like Hollywood productions as well, where they want to ensure that the actual actor gets it and like doesn't get exploited by family or just gets like taken like that.
Sure. Well, that makes sense. I thought that was cool that they treat them that well and nicely and stuff. What did you guys think of the child performances? I think, like, what's her name? Rakita?
Latika.
Is that her name? Latika. I always get her, as the movie's going, I was getting her mixed up with, you know, the Mario character who's in the clouds? Lakitu, who's like the guy who can't stand in Mario Kart. He's in, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I always thought that guy. I mean, her child actor gets the least amount of screen time. So it's mainly the brothers, I suppose. But I don't know. Did you guys think the child performances were solid?
They weren't bad or anything, which is, you know, a plus when you got child performances. So
yeah,
they were good.
Very good. Did you also think of Lakitu from Mario Kart, VC?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that dude? He's like in the Mario lore, you know. But it's the guy who's like he flies around and he's floating cloud. He's like a turtle dude.
You know when you go off the edge, he like takes you back on.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, like Lakita.
Yeah.
I did not know that was his name.
Yeah. Lakitu.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's just one letter change there.
I liked when they're giving like tours at the Taj Mahal. I thought that was pretty funny.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, I was just gonna say that's like where I believe their performance the most, because that's what I associate with like tourist boats.
I believe them as little shits, yeah, as con artists. Yeah, I like that movie a lot too. That part of the movie a lot too. I liked everything they were doing. The like hustle, that little section there was cool. Don't know how wise it was to hang the other brother off the train, but you know, it was fun.
On the poverty thing, which we stopped talking about 5 minutes ago, and now I'm going to bring it back up.
That's fine. That's fine.
Like I feel like the film, like gives context to the settings in it really well. Like early on, you get the idea of what the slums look like, and then I don't know, when we go to the city, there's just constant like background shots and shots of people walking by, and you get a more normal atmosphere of just, you know, a busy kind of city. And I think later when they go back like to the slums, like it's transformed a bit and it looks more modern, and you really get that feel. And so like the whole film, the setting feels like it's constantly evolving. I think Danny Boyle like shoots it in a really effective way as well. So
How do you guys feel about the soundtrack, the score? I think there was some like in some of the chase sequences and stuff. There's some groovy music choices. You know, I sort of dug it.
yeah,
There's some bangers in there.
they used MIA a bit, I think, which was interesting. It's pretty good.
I didn't know the song was that old. I just assumed it came out
Yeah,
like 2016 or something like that.
As soon as I heard MIA, I'm like she existed back then. What the hell? Yeah, but like Paper Planes, that album came out in 2007, I think. So like she was just, you know, big popular then.
Zach's confused as to what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know this. Is this a song? Oh, this is a song, obviously.
So like the song on like, you know, when on like it plays like when they're on the train and when they're doing their little, you know, hustle when they're
Yeah, I like that song. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, well, she's featured a few times, I think, because she was even. I think I heard her before then, and then they got a remix version of that song as well. So
yeah.
I really liked the ending of the movie specifically. I think for me, like it really worked. Like it's not a surprising conclusion, but I just think in its execution, it's like, okay, this movie that sort of took a turn for me halfway through of like, all right, I see where this is going. It sort of justified itself, and I'm like, okay, this is solid. I think there was some great, like easy but great tension when he phoned a friend and she had to like run back to the car to get the phone. I was like, I dug that. And obviously the final question being about the Three Musketeers was a solid callback. I should have seen that coming. They kept bringing up the three friggin' Musketeers for some reason. So that was cool. And obviously, you know, it's all fate, right? Like he never knew the name of the third Musketeer, and it all comes back around. So that was neat. And even the brother, which I really didn't really enjoy at all, gets his little moment where he finally does something nice for his brother, which is cool. And I thought that was like subtle, but a cool thing for him, especially when
subtle,
not
fucking
subtle. Sorry, yeah, I probably started the wrong sentence. Subtle when there was that moment earlier in the movie, not too much earlier, where he's they're hanging out in the brother's house. Jamal is, and he sort of catches his brother like praying, like forgive his sins or whatever. And just from that immediately, I'm okay. He's done some bad shit. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's working for this dude. So I thought that was nice for him then that was a cool little moment for then it to come around and just help earn the final scene more when he gets blasted. So that was a character where I wasn't enjoying him at all. It's one of those annoying things where it ended up working out fine, but I've got no problem with dickhead characters who are dickheads to the protagonist, but I like it more when they're at least endearing in some way, you know? But this brother was just an arsehole, so. But it worked out, is my point. It was fine. And of course, the friggin' host giving him the wrong answer in the toilet, that was nice. That was cool.
You know? Would you have gotten that cricket question correct? You're not much of a cricket watcher, though, are you?
Yes, no, I wouldn't have got that correct. No. You would have got it. You would have got it.
Nah, I would have gone with Ricky Ponting.
Yeah, although I thought when he gave him the B, I knew that it wouldn't, you know, he'd be triggering him. But yeah.
Have you seen the Family Guy parody of this?
Of what? That's that sequence
of the movie, but like of that sequence, like specifically.
No,
because the question is something like I think it was like who was the first player to get like 1,000 runs in like Test cricket or some shit like that, and it's like, you know, Sachin Tendulkar and like fucking I don't know, some other like people, and like option D is Jiminy Cricket, and it's Brian, and he's like, well, obviously I know it's not Jiminy Cricket, but then like he keeps on like saying it over and over again to get to the point where like it sounds like kind of Indian, and like It's funny, and then he goes with that, and it's wrong, and it's just fucking funny. Yeah.
That sounds good. I'm gonna have to watch that now. Was there anything you guys wanted to say about that ending sequence?
Well, because I thought from the start of the movie, I thought it would be the entire production against him, that suspected he was cheating or something like that, and like I thought like maybe the show was rigged or something, so like you couldn't get it right. But then like when throughout the movie, showing like the production team actually supports him, and then all of India supports him, I thought that was quite good. And it's just the host that's really against him because he wants to be the only kind of success story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was also because they would just lose money, but that's okay if it's just that, I guess. Because they probably earn that money back, I guess, in views and stuff, advertisements.
They would have earned that money back on that one show. How many people watched it?
Yeah.
I guess so. I don't know how that works. I don't know where that. I guess the network pays. I guess.
Ask Eddie McGuire.
Oh yeah, for sure. Eddie McGuire. We'll get to Eddie McGuire in a second. I did like the little moment when just still on this, but when Jamal was in the car and like the old lady came to his window and he was like, "Oh, fuck off! Like you're just a beggar," and then like it turned into support. He's like, "Oh, that was a nice little moment." Good. All right, let's get to Andy's review of Slumdog Millionaire. I almost said Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That'd be crazy if you reviewed just the whole show. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Andy said, long review, but I don't know, it's just to justify why I think the movie was average. My apologies. I don't really give a crap about Jamal, but very well acted by Dev Patel nonetheless. He just felt like an international version of Forrest Gump with more wit and decent IQ, but has the character document of out-of-nowhere genius abilities, flukiness, pure luck, and mere coincidences, which is similar to Gump in my opinion. It seemed really cliched that they would use a non-linear narrative of Jamal's life events to dramatically justify his correct answers on some game show, but understandably, it does want to convey to the audience the harsh life of an Indian boy living in the slums and his upbringing. Hopefully I could have the same luck as Jamal's when I go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Hot Seat. I forgot it's called Hot Seat with Eddie McGuire, who's not a great bloke, I've been told, but nonetheless, following the great character along felt unrewarding to me. I won't deny the emotional weight that the film set up did it for me at most parts, especially through Patel's performance, and I found Danny Boyle's filmmaking style appealing. His visceral editing and edgy camera work choices, but oh my effing god, this style was wasted on this Oscar bait crap of a concept. I can't say I really loved the film at all. One of those weaker Best Picture films like Green Book, for example. Too much Oscar bait sentimentality for my taste. In all honesty, I'd much prefer to watch The Dark Knight at 144p quality on repeat after Slumdog Millionaire won 8 Oscars in the same year they contested against each other. 6 out of 10. And let's hope I can watch a Danny Boyle film that will win me over once again. Thank you, Andy, for writing in.
I was just saying about the awards. Didn't it only win 2 major awards, and then like the rest of it was like technical categories? Like it won like best original, like best film, and then like adapted screenplay, I think, right?
That's I don't know, but that's that's usually the case.
And then I think the rest of it was all just technical awards. So I mean, like in terms of like, it didn't do like a big sweep of like actors and shit like that.
Sure.
So I mean, like like it won a lot of Oscars. It's like, and like it's a very impressive achievement, obviously. But like, yeah, it's just
I can see why this film would win a best screenplay award. I can. I think it's clever in its structure and the premise and like going to India and being a game show. I think that's interesting. It's not a best picture tier film for me, but it's not like every best picture film is I think is amazing by any means. So that's less of a point for me to point out. Although it is weird that this is the year of The Dark Knight. So putting that in context is interesting. But it seems like, we were talking about the Destiny stuff earlier, just that stuff didn't really vibe with Andy, which is fair enough. I get it. Now, as we get into our final verdicts, Fitzy, you gave a movie a score.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
Because when I saw that, and I got excited, and I clicked on your account, and then I saw that there was some ratings, and then I went back like an hour later, and they're all gone. Like what happened?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just couldn't resist.
Couldn't
resist rating that one movie, man. But
I like that.
I'm not saying I'm going back to it. I might. I don't know. I don't know.
I like that. Take it on a case-by-case basis. If you feel like you want to give something a score, give it a score. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, but like I feel like that's like I have to commit or not. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
The struggle.
Yeah, I'm getting the urge, to rate things, but I don't know.
So, but with this development now, I feel like I have to ask: are you going to give this movie a score, or are you not?
Well, I haven't really thought about it, so I don't know. But okay, I'll give it a score for you guys because you seem like you guys.
Oh, just for us, thank you.
Okay, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, 6 out of 10. But a good 6 out of 10. Solid 6 out of 10.
Sure. Not a trash 6 out of 10. Jaden, what about you?
I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. Not a trash 7 out of 10. So
Yes.
yeah,
I'm the same. I'll give it a 7 too. I think it's a good movie. I was surprised by how high the scores were, to be honest. Like we've covered, I think it's a good movie, but I didn't. It seems to resonate with people quite hard, so that's cool. Alrighty, let's get into a meaty news chat for y'all out there. Let's save the fun for last. So let's get into the first details on Christopher Nolan's next film. This is a report, by Deadline that was released, I believe, in the last very recently. And for those out there who don't know, Deadline, The Hollywood Reporter, any report from those two, very reliable. Just so everyone knows.
I just said the Deadline website sucks ass. Like whenever you click on an article and there's like fucking one pop up and then another display.
Oh, sure.
This thing is it's shit ass.
Yeah, I find that with a lot of sites these days. Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, so Christopher Nolan's next film is about J. Robert Oppenheimer. It is a biopic, and it is about the dude who developed the first A-bomb in World War II, which is interesting. I wasn't expecting Nolan to take the biopic route. He is reportedly shopping the screenplay around right now as we speak to multiple studios. He's getting people to read the screenplay, which obviously backs up things we've talked about in the past with him, not being overly thrilled with Warner Brothers right now. So we'll see where he lands. It seems like it won't be Warner Brothers, but that's exciting. We'll see who picks him up. In terms of other details are sort of scarce. The Deadline journalist mentions that he has heard that in terms of casting that Cillian Murphy is involved. He has heard that. Now that's not that interesting because it's Cillian Murphy and it's Nolan, right? But the interesting thing about it is that I've got the picture here right now of Oppenheimer, this dude. I'd never heard of him in my life. This guy sort of looks like Cillian Murphy. I can see it. So I feel like if that would be it, you're right. Like Cillian Murphy would probably end up being the lead. Or maybe not, but that makes sense to me. So I can see that resemblance. But yeah, I don't know. This was surprising to me when I read it last night. Do you have any raw first reactions to that news, Fitzy? How do you feel about another World War II Nolan movie, but obviously a very different one?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It could be psychologically interesting because the whole Oppenheimer thing is about like he, with a bunch of scientists, with a group of scientists, helped create the atom bomb, and then like regretted it for the rest of his life. And there's like a video on YouTube of him reading out this poem, like "I am become death" or something like that. And he's like, you can see in his face just like this, this anguish that he, gave this destruction to the world. But so I think it's different for Nolan, and it could be interesting. Yeah,
I can imagine him like reading that out at the end of the movie, the same way like they read out like "We'll fight on the beaches" speech at the end of Dunkirk.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, this interests me. I don't really that right there, like thematically, sounds really interesting. Like this character study of this guy like does this terrible thing and regrets it. That sounds really cool. And I trust Nolan to have depth that clicks with me and cool story and stuff.
Sorry, you just mentioned like how like you were surprised it was a biopic, but like because like he was like Nolan was meant to make a biopic in 2004 or 5 whatever about I think Howard Hughes. Is that The Aviator?
yeah.
Oh,
but then like he found out that Scorsese was making the same one, so he just scrapped it. I think he said it was like some of his best writing, but like because of that, he didn't want to release it, so that's why he went with the Dark Knight trilogy. So like
Right.
it's new for him in the sense that like we haven't got one from him like that, but like he has written one before, and he's said that it was pretty good. So
Yeah. I'm glad he thinks it's really good. No, I forgot about that. He mentioned that in the book. Actually, I forgot. And he said he felt it was quite different to the Scorsese movie, but still same subject matter. He didn't want to sort of trample over it again anyway. But no, this I'm very curious. I think this could be very interesting. You know what I mean? Like there's always that like tiny part of me which is like I sort of just want a big budget sci-fi thing from him. You know, there's always that little part of me, but then it's like that's not really, that's a bit bland. You know what I mean? Let him. I love everything he does, right? So I'm probably going to love this. That's really all that matters.
Yeah. Well, this feels very, Nolan idolizes Kubrick as one of his favorite directors, and it feels like another, like this could be his Doctor Strangelove. I doubt it's going to be a comedy or satire like that, but like, in the terms of like, you compare the Kubrick movies that we got to the Nolan movies we got, I feel like there's a bit of a pattern there. Like he likes to emulate him a bit.
Sure. I can see a comparison there with I don't know a lot about Kubrick's career, but like with in terms of Dunkirk being sort of that first step outside of the big budget Hollywood sort of movie, you know. And I think Interstellar and Inception are much more than that. But at the end of the day, right, like they are cash cows for Warner Brothers, right? And I can sort of see Dunkirk being that first step out of that, and then we sort of go from there, you know.
Well, like Following is like reminiscent of like Kubrick's early like noir work, like The Killing or like Killer's Kiss or whatever. And then like like Interstellar is obviously reminiscent of 2001, and Dunkirk and Paths of Glory, like these kind of World War II films that Kubrick did can be compared. So this could be compared to kind of Doctor Strangelove, I guess.
Eyes Wide Shut is one of Nolan's favorite films. Just to reaffirm my opinion. Yeah.
So he's gonna make an Eyes Wide Shut equivalent film for his final film.
That'd be insane.
The day that Nolan dips his hand into horror, I think will be great. When he's finally like, all right, it's time to make my Shining. That's
right.
It's gonna be great.
I know he said he's really interested in that. So that's something he would definitely want to explore. So that's cool. Quick update. We talked about Furiosa, this film, a few times, and by the sounds of it, we'll be talking about it a bit more because it's been delayed from 2023. I know looking this far into the future scares all of us, but it's been delayed until 2024. May, I think you said, Jamie?
Yeah,
is that right?
It's been delayed 11 months.
Wow. So for a movie this far away, I feel like we've been talking about a fair bit. We sort of know a fair bit about it in terms of Anya Taylor-Joy prequel. We've been over that, So, oh well, we're going to be waiting a while longer. So,
well, like I just wonder like what the reason is, because like I think Anya Taylor-Joy is pretty booked and busy. She's obviously got a few films with Eggers lined up and a few like other just movies there. Like, is George really doing anything at the moment? I imagine he's going to be sitting on his ass for.
What are you doing, George?
It's gonna have like a great pre-production with this film. Like it's top notch.
Yeah, they're gonna take an extra year to get all their flaming cars ready. That's a good point. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just a studio like release schedule timing thing. They do that. They shift those things around. All right, let's get into this. The Matrix Resurrections trailer launched a couple of days ago now. I wasn't going to watch it. I really wasn't. I was like,
how can you not watch it?
I was like, dude, I'm not excited for this movie. I don't care. I just want to go in and see the movie, right? That was my initial thought. But seeing the positive reactions to it, seeing you guys really dig it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I watched it 24 hours later. I watched it for those exact same reasons because I realized I'm not excited for this movie. And to be honest, I want to be excited for this movie. I really do. I want to be into this. So I watched the trailer, and yeah. What did you think of it, first of all, Fitzy?
Oh man, I thought it was great. I think. Well, what is that reaction, Jaden? What face did you make?
Nothing.
Nothing. But I don't know. I think like they're going back to like they're gonna do like a hero's journey kind of thing like the first one. And I think even though that could be a bit repetitive, I don't think you can go wrong there like they did with the sequels. So I don't know. The CGI, the action just looks amazing. Like I don't know. I love the trailer. I thought it was sick. Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
I didn't love it at all. I thought it was really average. Like, I think it was positively mid. Keanu Reeves just looks like John Wick with like less makeup or like less work done to him. I mean, like they did no effort to make him look
Please
like
hold
Neo.
on.
No, yeah, but I mean, like they did. It literally looks like they took John Wick and then just placed him in the movie. It does not look like Neo in any sense of the word. Like honestly, at all.
Okay.
Sure.
I think like there's nothing in the trailer that to excite me. I think just I don't know what more to say than that. I just think it looks positively mid.
Sure. I really like the trailer, and I'm really I made the right decision watching it because, like I said, dude. I mean, I was interested in seeing the movie just because I was excited to review it for the show and cap off our Matrix review. So I thought that would be a fun thing to do, and I was excited in that sense. But I wasn't excited for the movie. This trailer did get me excited for the movie. I think sort of setting the blank slate, the slate clean. It seems like what we're doing here. I'm into that. Please, for the love of Christ, don't go too hard into much to do with Reloaded and Revolutions. You know what I mean? This sort of does feel like, and I'm sure like those movies will matter. I'm not saying they're going to ignore them by any means, but I'm glad that it does seem very much like, we had that trilogy. Neo did his thing. The world was saved. Zion was saved. All that shit, right? And it's like, okay, things have reset. I don't know the Matrix lore, but it seems to be a situation where it's like people have, all these things come back around. All these, the one is reborn, all that sort of stuff. All these important characters are reborn and come back in different ways. And I assume this is sort of a new cycle, which, to Fitzy's point, that could be redundant, maybe. But I don't know. I trust that it won't be. I do think it'll be interesting in some way, and I think that's the best direction to go in because, I like that first movie a lot. It's the only one I like. And if we're sort of just taking that as the foundation and resetting the story, but doing maybe interesting things with it, is all it cool. But that's mainly speculation because the trailer is pretty light on story. Where the trailer really kicks ass is visually, dude. That trailer looked sick. I thought it had its really great visual style that was even different enough from the Matrix movies, which already had great visual style. It didn't feel like, we're just doing the Matrix again visually. It felt distinct to me. It felt like a modernized take on that, which was cool.
Did that initial establishing shot not look like absolute shit to you?
It looked fake as shit. I thought that was sort of the idea.
Wait, what you talking about?
That first shot of San Francisco.
Oh yeah, but it's hammed up. Yeah,
I thought that was the idea, but I don't know. Maybe we'll wait to see the movie. I totally agree with you. It looked garbage, but I thought like, oh, we're in the Matrix, people. Like, don't forget.
But the Matrix never looked that bad.
But I sort of thought that might be a new direction for it. I don't know because the thing we always had with I don't know. I assume they'd consider all this, right?
Surely.
Is it Lana or Lily directing? Is it which one is it?
Lana, I think
it's Lana. This is her thing. I'm sure she's thought about this 1,000 times. But the thing we loved visually in the first films is that we have the color tints. We have the green to represent the Matrix, and I believe it was like more purple and dull colors outside, right? I feel like this is sort of a new version of that, because the scenes in the Matrix didn't scream overly green tinted to me, but they did feel off. They felt fake in a different way. So I thought that was interesting. But just the little snippets of action,
Yeah.
Like it looked nuts. It looked really cool.
Did they come back down to Sydney to shoot this, or did they do this over in Yankee Land?
They did this in San Fran.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They shot it there.
Yeah, I completely forgot whether Neo died at the end of the third one or not, and I was trying to figure out is this a restart of the cycle, or did he blue pill himself or some shit? I was like, I have no idea what happened.
I think we were trying to figure that out in the review.
Oh, did we? Okay.
I think we were sort of uncertain about that there. So, but I think he did, right?
I think he died, right?
No,
Yeah.
what? No, Trinity died, didn't she?
But I think he sort of wasn't implied he did too. Like he didn't explicitly die, but
I don't even remember Trinity dying.
because didn't he
She got
confront-
stabbed, didn't she? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But then didn't he?
He confronted that
Didn't he-
big machine face thing.
Yeah,
right?
and then
like,
and then it faded to light or something.
Oh, it
Yeah.
became Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot
Yes, yeah, that's right. I think it was meant to
that.
imply
No,
he
but
died.
he's there at the end with the oracle and everything, isn't he?
But didn't the Oracle die as well?
Oh shit!
No, they're looking at like the sunset, and
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
a new dawn.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, you're right.
But but I don't even know. Like, but considering the fact like Trinity is back, right? So that just tells us we don't need to take seriously at all who we think or died or didn't in those movies. We really don't. You know.
yeah, maybe not.
I assume that it wouldn't be the same Trinity. Like, I think it's like if it is a new cycle thing that we're doing, well, maybe it is the same Neo then. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it is just the same Neo, and because he's obviously got a new identity in the Matrix. Maybe he's been plugged back in for some reason. That's
But wasn't there peace with the fucking robots at the end of the third one? Wasn't that the
Yeah.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Something's happened, obviously.
All right. Yeah.
Could just be like an alternative reality, something like that. They talk about that in the films, I think.
Oh god.
But who knows?
My hope with this is all interesting story speculation. I hope the film is clever. Like, I hope it isn't like just some simple bullshit explanation. I hope it does sort of take what we understand about that world and have an interesting reason for this happening. But I hope it doesn't go like, I want it to do that, but I want it to find a balance of not being obnoxious, like not making us. I hope we don't end up sitting here in the Matrix Resurrections review having these same conversations again about what the fuck any of this, what happened. You know what I mean? I hope they find a middle ground there. You know. Oh yeah, and the only other thing, this movie's there's interesting stuff to think about, but I just love the re-emphasis on the blue and red pills. Love that shit. Loved it in the first movie. I'm glad it's all back.
Just seeing how Neil Patrick's glasses are blue and then that girl's glasses are red, implying that if he follows the girl, then he's red pilling it, and if he listens to Neil Patrick, it's good. That was
good.
Neil Patrick Harris, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, good, yeah.
That's great. Oh shit, I love that shit. I love that stuff. I did see Jonathan Groff was at the end of this trailer. He was the dude sitting there in the chair at the end, asking Neo the question. I saw, because Hugo Weaving not in this movie, I saw the idea that he is the new Agent Smith. He is an agent, which I'm all about. I'm all about that. So, I mean, there has to be an agent, right? There's going to be an agent. I think that we even saw a quick glimpse of some sort of agent-looking thing.
Yeah.
So that's neat. Alrighty then, we'll see that in December. Let's get into our highlights of the week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
Because I kind of want to talk about Spider-Man now, so I don't harp on about it when we talk about Raimi, but then I also, should I harp on about it when we talk about Raimi?
I feel like we can keep it focused there, but it's up to you. I'm down to make all those just Spider-Man talk, you know?
Yeah, alright. I'll chat about the Amazing Spider-Man and how it is actually amazing. Look, 98% of the time, you have an opinion or a point or a comment on a film, I'll be able to understand it. I'll disagree with it, but I'll understand it. This is one thing I will not be able to be moved on, and when people have this opinion, it fucking physically it just fundamentally stops my brain from working. I just do not understand it. I do not understand how anyone can think that the Raimi Spider-Man are better than the Mark Webb ones in any sense of the fucking word. Look, I think after rewatching the Raimi ones recently, I don't want to give away too much about what I think about the Raimi ones, but the first one's good, the other ones are fine. I'll say that in that sense. I just don't know where to go because I just don't want to oh my god. The Amazing Spider-Man is just so much better. It's better action, better characters, better dialogue, better chemistry, better. It's just infinitely superior to the Raimi ones. You know, the Raimi ones just have the characters just cartoon cutouts of an idealized versions of these people, you know. But then, you know, these the ones in the Amazing Spider-Man, they're just fucking raw, you know, and emotional. Like, there's so much emotion imbued into these new ones, you know? And, like, I think with the Amazing Spider-Man, they're probably not, I think they're more Peter Parker films than they are Spider-Man films, and I think maybe some people have like, there or something shit like that. But, like, it's just, oh my fucking, I just don't know. Like, I don't know where to start and where to end with, like, why they're so much better and how we'll never understand why people prefer Raimi. And people calling fucking Spider-Man 2 the best. Once again, I'm reaching into Spider-Man 2. But they're fucking idiots. And anyone that says, oh, Doc Ock is such a great villain, and then says, like, the ones in this are bad, like, Doc Ock is just a fucking cookie cutter scientist gone too far. He's exactly the same as anyone else in these Amazing Spider-Man films. I agree that the ones in Spider-Man 2 are a bit rushed, but it's only a fucking tiny bit worse than, what Kurt Connors is or whatever. It just fucking blows my mind when people hold this opinion. And I'm aware that you do hold this opinion, don't you?
No.
No? Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Fuck you. Yeah. I mean, like, dude, like, Emma Stone is so much better of a companion than what fucking Kirsten Dunst is. She actually has character beyond being just Spider-Man's girlfriend. She actually has, she in Amazing Spider-Man 2 they talk about it, about like she wants to do her own path and her decisions are her own to make and whatever. So she actually does have agency and control above just being a fucking damsel in distress, which is all that MJ is. I mean, like, it's just it's just infinitely better in every single way.
Oh, I'm so glad that we got you unfiltered, Jane. We got it. I know you've been boiling up, and it's only going to boil up again.
I was like, should I bottle this up for another fucking month, 2 months, 3 months, and then talk about it at a time, or should I just fucking get rid of it now?
Just do it again. It's fine. Just keep coming back to it. I've no opinion. I've seen all those movies a long time ago. I sort of think of them all 5 of them equally. Like I'm looking forward to revisiting them. That's what all I'll say about that.
I'll say that the only thing that I think the Vulture is the best villain in any of the Spider-Man films. I'll say that.
Oh, Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I think Michael Keaton. I think Homecoming gets it right. But then in pretty much everything else, I think the Amazing Spider-Man has it.
I think I agree with some things you said, honestly, but we'll get into it.
We will.
3 weeks.
I might just not show up to those episodes, actually.
Oh my god. I'm excited. I'm really excited for those reviews, actually. I feel like we're doing a good job picking these franchises, It's good. What about you, Fitzy? What have you been watching?
I watched a movie, Solaris 2002. It's not a remake, it's an alternative adaptation of the book Solaris, which is also a film by Tarkovsky. And it's a sci-fi film, very interesting premise. So like psychologist's dead wife goes to space, and there's this planet called Solaris, and when they're orbiting the planet, he sees his wife is like reincarnated in the ship, kind of. And the film is like, it's a sci-fi, and the sci-fi sets are really like clinical, and like they're interesting in the way they're set up. They feel very cold, but and humanity, on Earth, you see like how sci-fi, how it's like technology has evolved a bit, and it's kind of subtle in that way. And I like that aspect of the film, but the film is primarily like a romance, really, or like a film about grief, I guess, about loved ones, and like it's really it's got this blend of like eeriness and romance, because you see this this wife which is like brought back in the flesh, and Clooney is the main character. Him like reacting to that is like really great, and it's just the vibes, man. The score is like amazing, and it all just fits together. It's just stuck with me. It's film like I haven't had a film that stuck with me so much in like a while. So
I love when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if this is the George Clooney. Is there anyone else of note in this particular picture?
Viola Davis. Viola Davis is in it. They have like arguments on the ship about what they should do with the alien, and the wife is fairly popular. Natasha McElhone. Okay, she was in The Truman Show. There's some more recognizable people, but it's pretty much just Clooney and Soderbergh is the director as well. He's really great. So yeah.
Thanks for calling me out on saying picture. You know, you know what that is? I have watched some interviews with one Marty, our friend Marty, and he consistently refers to films as pictures. You know,
I mean, he was born in fucking 1928 or whatever it was, something like.
Exactly. He says, you know, I saw the picture last week or whatever. You know, that's like that's how we would use it in a sentence, obviously. And for some reason, like that just like connected with me like subconsciously. I was like, oh my god, I feel like I've said it a few times. What have I watched? I don't know, man. I watched there's some movies, you know, Thelma and Louise. I watched that movie. It's a Ridley Scott joint, and it was alright. Yeah, I think it's sort of a shame actually because I think the film's thematically interesting. I think it's clear what it's like trying to say in quotes or like what it's representing, especially, you know, just women's place in society in that time. I think that's interesting. But it's just sort of like it's that which is cool, and I like the ending, and it all and it does back up. It's sort of what it's trying to represent, and I like all that stuff, but those ideas. But it's sort of just surrounded by like Ridley Scott-ness, like Ridley Scott boring Ridley Scott stuff, like the most like casual, like in my opinion, uninteresting like film situation things. You know what I mean? That don't really make a lot of sense, aren't that engaging in my opinion. You know, it's that sort of thing. I think it's a totally fine, entertaining film. I think. You know, I think there's a reason that it's popular. I think it resonates with, you know, it's a broad appealing film, I think. And I can see why the ending would be very memorable for people. But I just can't get over, I just can't get over Ridley Scott and how boring he can be, dude. Like, when you have a core idea, a core foundation, even a core two main, you know, character-led film, that I feel like he can just go so much further with this. And he just sort of and I don't want to shit on Ridley Scott. He's obviously like one of the best directors ever. Like, he's clearly competent at filmmaking. But I just feel like he can deliver more, and he sort of chooses quantity over quality, I feel like, you know. So much as to where, like, seeing a Ridley Scott film, it still means something to me, obviously. You know, he's a huge name, but it doesn't mean as much as it should, to me personally, you know. But
no, he does make boring movies.
Yeah, but not boring in the sense of like they're entertaining movies.
Blade Runner boring.
You know, Blade Runner's fucking, oh my god, I hate that movie. But the more I think about it, I really hate that movie. But so boring. But most of his films I don't find boring, like in the traditional sense. I find them entertaining and broad appealing, and that's cool. That's fine. I just don't find them engaging or interesting in it by any means. You know, like even Exodus, Gods and Kings or whatever. Like that's a perfect example, you know, where it's like it's an entertaining enough movie, you know, Christian Bale, Moses, and all that shit. But sorry, it's not going to stick with you, all right? You know, you're not going to be thinking about Exodus, Gods, and Kings a week later after you saw it. So, but yeah. Anyway, I hope. I just want to see Alien, and then I'll be fine. I think really will redeem himself for me. You know. All right, as always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is your favourite movie you've ever seen on an aeroplane? Nick said, he just said non-stop Liam Neeson. And I, as I said in Discord, interpreted that as just being like he went on a Liam Neeson binge. Like, I'm thinking he saw Taken, he saw Unknown, you know, he saw The Commuter, all these shit movies that I've never seen, but whatever, right? But no, there is a movie, one of those, throw them in the bag, called Non-Stop with Liam Neeson. So Luke said, I remember that I started watching Hunger Games Catching Fire on a plane, but I never finished it. I don't think I've enjoyed any movie I've watched on a plane. I know that I watched Ocean's 11 3 times because the people around me started at different times. Like, what does that mean? What?
Because like he's watching the screens around him instead of like his screen.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
no. Alex said, I literally turn off the monitor and watch everyone else's movies down the aisle. Dude, this is the best answer. This
Yeah.
is the best answer. You can't top that answer. That is objectively correct. I'm so disappointed I didn't think of that, but that is so true. And the amount of times where I'm like maybe thinking, what do I want to watch? I don't know. I'm scrolling through. And then I sort of just get captivated. Oh, shit. The guy's watching Batman Begins. He's like 15 minutes in. I know that's it. You know, like he sort of looks somewhere else. It's like, oh, is that Eric Banner movie? Like, you get captivated by what everyone else is watching. That's so true. I love that. But in terms of Luke's answer, Hunger Games Catching Fire, is that or is it not the best Hunger Games movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I quite
But
like
that's the second
Mockingjay
one,
Part
right?
1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I like that movie too.
yeah, but Catching Fire could be the best one. We should do that as a series as well.
Shit. I mean,
Or are we like 7 years too late on that?
well, that, you know, the hilarious thing about Hunger Games, I feel like no one talks about it anymore. I feel like no one has who talks about Hunger Games ever.
I think there's a pretty solid little echo chamber on Tumblr that still talks about like your core, young adult movies.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I feel like that series was huge at the time and has not had any staying power in pop culture.
Mm.
I just don't hear about it. Like nothing. I feel like at the time it was coming out, like you could compare, the anticipation and the significance of each release to a Harry Potter. But now, like, it's not even close in terms of what has sort of stayed in people's minds. Aiden said, Air Crash Investigations, Season 17. Nice one. Andy said, I've tried to watch one movie on an aeroplane. On my way home from Vietnam, Vietnam Airlines provided a Vietnamese historical epic called Once Upon a Time in Vietnam, directed by Dustin Nguyen, that bloke who was in the recurring cast of that old 21 Jump Street show with Johnny Depp. Oh, wow, okay. I fell asleep 15 minutes into the film, and since then I've not actually completed a movie on an aeroplane, nor have I logged it as watched on Letterboxd. Okay, sitting on economy sucks, so kudos to everyone for being able to watch a movie from the sky. I mean, movies are the only escape from the sky because I'm not a huge fan of flying either. I don't really enjoy that experience necessarily, but movies are all I got. That's
Bro, just sleep. Honestly,
I can't sleep. I cannot sleep on a plane.
Really? No.
Not possible for me.
It's like fucking time
God,
travel.
I wish it was. Yeah. Oh god, that sounds awesome, dude. That sounds incredible. I just can't do it. Movies are my only thing that I can survive with. But Jaden, when you're not sleeping on a plane, what is your favorite movie you've seen?
It's really funny because about like Spooky's answer. When I was going to fucking overseas, there's like I don't know what the movie was, but it must have been like really popular like in like fucking East Asia at the time, because like literally like every single person was watching it, and like I could literally like look at every single screen around me, and it was the same movie, and like it's not like, oh god, it's like some like spy like action type, like I don't know, like Mission Impossible but fucking Chinese or something like that. And like it was properly engaging because like I cannot tell you how many times I was like I'd watch like an hour worth of the movie on different people's screens. But like in terms of like what I've actually watched, I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on a plane.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, Quentin, but yeah, I did.
Oh, cool. That sounds interesting. I don't know if I'd think of that as like a airplane movie, but
well,
cool.
I had 3 hours from Tokyo to Taiwan, and like it fit perfectly, so I was like, "Fuck it, yeah, might as well."
Sure, absolutely. But is it? Did you manage to finish it?
Yeah,
because it's not one of those things where the absolute worst, is when it's like you're like 15 minutes away from finishing it, and it's like, and then the stupid
on the same flight, this girl was watching Wonder Park, and like there was like 17 minutes left on the movie or some shit, because I remember her pausing it and like it shows the bar, and she was devastated. I was like, fuck, sucks for you, but I timed mine well.
Yeah, well, it's even worse when the captain starts speaking over the PA and it interrupts your friggin' movie.
Yeah.
I hate that shit, dude. It's comical.
Just
Dude,
fucking
I
keeping business
started.
to yourself.
I know, dude. I started the dry on a plane not too long ago, and oh my god, it took like 25 minutes. Like every 3 seconds, the captain would come back in and say something else. I'm like, shut up, just let me watch Eric Banner right now, please. What about you, Liam?
I had to think. I don't know. I think just Goodfellas. I think might have been on the plane for the first time, but yeah, I don't know. I remember seeing that on the plane. Fun film, exciting film, long film. Get you through the flight. So
Is it a long film, Goodfellas?
I think it is actually.
I think
It
it
doesn't,
is.
it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like a long film,
I
but
sort of
I
don't think
think
of
it
it that way,
is.
but
Yeah, neither. But I think it is long.
sure,
Could be
that's
wrong,
true.
but
You do want a long film, that's true. For some bizarre reason, I've watched many a film on many a plane, and I couldn't tell you if this is like the actual favorite movie I've ever seen on a plane. For some reason, I kept thinking about Doctor Strange. I kept thinking about it because I watched that on a plane for the first time, and it just really worked for me. Like the whole experience of it. It was like the perfect. Like I wasn't interested in seeing it in the theaters at the time. I was like, I want to watch this new Marvel movie, all right. And I turned it on, and it was like it's a visually interesting movie, cool action, and it just totally vibed with me at the time. It's not a very long movie, I don't believe. Just totally worked. I really liked it. See, the only time I've ever seen it, and I always remember that. I really love the ending of that movie when he keeps trolling the villain, like keep coming. That's great. I love that shit. That's pretty clever. So yeah, that's the one I keep coming back to for no real reason, but I enjoy that. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comments section, or send us a DM on Instagram, or join us on the lovely Discord server. And the specific question we'll be asking you is, what are some of your least favourite trends in modern Hollywood movies? It can really be anything. We were discussing potential options for that. It can be, I don't know, like a genre that keeps coming back you dislike, an actor, just a trope of any sort, What are some things going on that you dislike? Do you dislike just the movie Cats? Does its existence just infuriate you? I don't know. Let me know. I still want to watch that movie. I really do. I feel like I don't, but I do.
I just feel like I just don't even think it's going to be a fun experience of watching it. Like like there's a bad fun. I just it just doesn't seem like it just doesn't seem like it'd be a good bad.
Yeah, could it be fun with someone else? Maybe if you like laughing at it.
Yeah, possibly.
maybe.
But even though only that lasts so long, like that's only that you sort of get a kick out of that for 15 minutes, and then you realize I've got to sit here for another hour and a half. So that's sort of how I feel about it anyway. But I just can't get over that story that I heard about Cats, where they patched the movie. Remember that? Where they there was a CG mistake in the movie, and in the theaters, it was like what's her face, Judi Dench. Like you saw her wedding ring in the movie, and they released an update to the movie where they CG'd it out, as it was in its theatrical run. When I heard about that's the best shit I've ever heard. I love that. All right, well that's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Thanks everyone for listening. Fitzy, what are we watching next week?
We're returning to our favorite filmmaker, Steven Spielberg. Catch Me If You Can, which is on Stan again. So get hyped.
It's your first
Have you
poll
guys-
win, Liam.
Oh, yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah. One of the first of many. Yes.
Oh, I hope not. I was devastated. I thought I had it in the bag too. I was totally wrong.
Mm.
What about have you guys seen this movie before?
Well, I thought I did, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because I looked at the first I was looking at the start of the movie. I didn't recognize any of it, even though I have seen the last hour-ish. But yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's
Well,
a
very good.
movie
I'm looking
I
forward
didn't
to it.
need to watch again for a very long time. But
But we are.
yeah, I can eat it.
It's been a while. It's been holy shit. It's been 6 years since I've seen it. That's nuts. So I'll be fine. It's well and truly past my date limits. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Thanks everyone again. I said that, and we'll see you all next week. Have a great rest of your week and life, and goodbye.